washing machine, fridge, smart TV, air conditioner, kitchen items amadi makal khudingmakki home appliances kidamak hoina waningai leite. Kaisampat Kunchen Hazari Lekai Delega Measure of Impalna ahongbo mamalda item khudingmakki up to 50% discount that offer pizai. Wedding set unalong matamdasu special oiba discount kaya su hamjari. Interest amatta yaudena 0% EMI loan gi kudong sabasu hamjari. Kudong sabasu mangan biraganu ngasi maklengsin biraku Measure of Impal Kaisampat Kunchen Hazari Lekai.
Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to ELITETV Open Debate in English. Today being Monday, we will be holding our Open Debate in English to reach out to a wider audience beyond the boundaries of our state. I'm Utpala, your host for tonight. What is self-employment? The state of working for oneself as a freelance or the owner of a business rather than for an employer. At the core of youth empowerment is the belief that young people are capable of incredible things when young people have exposure to inspiring ideas and opportunities and the tools to build their confidence. They can take on anything and everything. An empowered youth recognizes their capabilities, self-determination and worth. They feel comfortable trying new things. They have the confidence to take risks and are aware that failure is a step toward progress, not a sign to give up. They don't use the opinions of others as their guideposts in life. They stand up for their own values. But they know they have built a foundation of self-empowerment to rely on in times of struggle or when they're feeling lost and need to recalibrate. Our topic for today's open debate, ladies and gentlemen, is empowering youths through self-employment. Joining me tonight on this edition of Open Debate in English are our panelists, Dr. C.H. Ibohal Meitei, Director MIMS MU. Welcome to our open debate. Welcome to ELITETV, Mr. Meitei.
Okay, good evening. Sorry, I'm a professor of management, Manipur University.
Okay, Manipur University.
Not as a director. My term was over for the director, so kindly rectified it.
My apologies for that. Our next panelist is Mr. Machang Soibam, Entrepreneur, Director, Lamjing Financial Consultant Private Limited. Welcome to ELITETV Open Debate, Mr. Soibam. And our third panelist for tonight is Mr. Maisnam Korouhanba Luwang, Executive Director, Lawyers for Human Rights Manipur, LHRM. Welcome to our show this evening, Mr. Advocate Luwang. Right.
Good evening, all.
Thank you for being on our show tonight. Before we begin, I'd like to welcome our three panelists. A warm welcome to all our three panelists once again. So let's open the debate now. I'd start with Dr. C.H. Ibohal Meitei. Mr. C.H. Meitei, could you tell us what is the present unemployment issue, I beg your pardon, the present unemployment issue in the state? There is unemployment. What is the reason behind the unemployment in the state?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Utpala. Well, at the outset, I express my heartfelt thanks and profound gratitude to the ELITETV team for giving me this opportunity to be amidst you and share some of my viewpoints on the topic, empowering youths through self-employment. Yes, it is very, very pertinent to see the employment status in the state of Manipur. And when we just look at the employment scenario, we normally give emphasis on the government jobs especially.
Yes.
Well, government is also trying to provide government departments and government undertaking. But altogether, when we situate the total number of jobs available in the government sector as on today, it's less than 1 lakh. It's 80,000 to 90,000. And the number of unemployed youths educated youths, in fact, looking for jobs, register in the employment exchange government of Manipur. It's touching around 7 lakhs, even more than that. So that's why it keeps on increasing year after another. So that's why the unemployment rates prevalent in the state of Manipur, when we compare to the total number of populations in the state, it is touching around 25%. Okay, we have a hardly 28.5 lakh population in the last census, 2011, and we have approximately around 32 to 35 lakhs as on today. So that's why the employment scenario over here, government can provide one component. The larger chunk of the employment in any part of the globe today, it is provided by the private sector.
Right.
So that's why even in the state of Manipur too, of late, we have seen so much of opportunities of working in the private sector. So many new companies have come up, new businesses have been started. That's why many people are getting self-employed themselves. At the same time, they are also providing jobs to thousands of people. So that's why when we situate about Manipur, though the number of unemployed youths are very large, and in fact, we have to situate how these unemployed youths can be provided jobs for their livelihood, for their standard of living, because all of them are very, very important assets for the society. In fact, today's youths is a tomorrow's future, and that's why we need to situate about their overall livelihoods, about their health aspirations and economic capabilities, and keeping all these things in mind, we need to do many things. And for that matter, the attention should be drawn for providing jobs in the private sector. And that's why we have to encourage the employability skills of the youths, and also just provide a conducive ecosystem for the private players also to grow parallelly with the government departments in terms of providing jobs to many of the young people. So that's why, to my understanding, Manipur, no doubt, is having so much of challenges, and at the same time, good opportunities are coming up for the youths to make themselves self-employed, and at the same time, they can also do business not only in the state of Manipur, but in the global level to some of the areas and the sectors. So these are the few insights I just would like to share as an opening remarks.
Okay. Thank you for your thoughts. I'll move on to Mr. Machang Soibam. So Soibam, Dr. C.H. Ibohal Meitei just mentioned about the private sector being one of the providing a lot of employment to the youth. But people mostly prefer joining a government job. Is it because of the salary? Is salary a factor here? Because private firms, private sectors, are they good paymasters, or would do the people prefer government jobs because it's secure and the salary is higher?
You see, as Professor Ibohal have rightly pointed out, so we have approximately around 80,000 government employees, I mean state government employees.
Right.
Out of the total population of some 30-35 lakhs. So it's almost, it's not, I would say it's impossible for the government to provide government jobs to youth of the state.
Right.
So, you know, like when you talk about the salary structure, private companies do not pay like how the government pays. Private company pays the salary based on their capacity, based on the caliber of the individual.
Right.
So, as I myself as an entrepreneur and as a self-employed person, and in the process I'm employing a few employees also in my company. So, we are willing to pay more than even the say at par with the government if the person has the right skill.
Okay.
So all that matters is the skill.
Okay.
So unfortunately, we do not find the skillful person, skillful youths.
Okay.
So if a young boy or young girl has just a degree from the university, that doesn't mean he is equipped with all the skills. So what we are facing here is lack of skills. So that we call it employability.
Okay.
Okay. So the rate of employability is very low with respect to the youth of our state. Even if it is lower than the national standard.
Right. Okay.
As per a survey, for national standard is 13%. Out of every 100, 13% of the youths are only employable. So it is much lower than that in our state.
So how can we change that? How can we increase the employability of the fresh students?
That's what I have been thinking about, what I have been digging in that matter for the last few years. And I'm trying to find a solution also. And I came up with few ideas also.
Okay.
So to increase the employability of our youth, first, our youth should be, like, they should have a self-discipline.
Okay.
So this is lacking in our youths. Okay. So instead of sitting idly at home after completing their education, do anything. Forget about the salary, how much he is getting. Because there's no institution in the world that will teach a youth that, how to do a job. The skill how to do a job can be acquired only from experience. Okay. So youth need to take a job, irrespective of, how much it pays or what status he gets. Forgetting about that, they need to open their mind. So our youths, I'm facing a problem. We are facing a problem. All the all the employers, private players in the state are facing a problem. We are not getting employable youths.
Okay.
Okay. So they need to open up their mind. Our youths need to open up their mind.
Okay.
That government job is not only the opportunity. We can also explore other opportunity. Even they can be a self-employed person. They can even provide employers to others. So they need to come up with these ideas, these thoughts. And unfortunately, there is no, formal institution to guide the youth that, okay, you become an entrepreneur. That is only the issue with us. But we are willing to help anybody who wish to take up this challenge of self-employment.
Right, okay.
But they should come forward now. So sometimes I'll give you an example. Sometimes many people used to ask me, what my son can do. You tell us something what he can do. It's not a ready-made solution.
Right.
The willingness and desire come from the individual. I cannot give somebody a ready-made thing. Okay, do this and earn something like that. It's not possible.
Right.
So our youths need to come forward.
Thank you for your thoughts. Okay, next I'll move on to Advocate Maisnam, Korouhanba, Luwang. Well, as Mr. Soibam just said, he just mentioned that the youth need to get exposure, as well as we have this cultural, I don't know whether you can call it cultural, but it's usually the parents who will decide what the child will become. And then it's, the child is not actually kind of given the opportunity to think for himself, most cases. It's always usually the parents who decide. Could that be another reason why people are not, they're actually not very employable? Because if the youth is given a chance, probably they'll start thinking from an early age what they would like to do and how they would like to be self-employed rather than employed under somebody. So could cultural background be the reason why we have people who would rather go for government jobs than be self-employed?
Well, this is the general concept of our Manipur, especially in the third world country.
Right.
Let's say, for example, we have to say in the early stage, early childhood stage of our youth or young generation of our society, the people mandate and they are trying to get only the government job. Is that they are given the priority to get the government job. This is the issue. Then culturally, in Manipur, we have to say that when the time of nurturing their children in the schooling, first schooling, what is your aim and object in your life? This is the first question which we are asking to the to our young generation. Say the student will say, I will be the IAS officer, or doctor, or engineer, any other officers, the white collar job.
Yes, exactly.
So we don't give any such kind of unemployment avenue to the young generation of our nation. So that's why they are bounded and they are compelled to seek only the government job. This is the first priority. But so culturally, as you mentioned here, culturally we are very diverse in nature. Say sometimes we are always the issue of homesickness, and the parents or other general publics, they are thinking to get only the government job, and they are not giving any opportunity, and they are not exploring their children to get other say widely spread out job opportunity in the self-employment sector or other private sector. So to compare with the salary also, some private company, they are paying more than government job. For example, say Amazon or other big companies in the world, they are paying more than 3 times, 4 times salary, that of the salary of the government employee. So that's why we have to select which type of job to be provided to our children and to our youth. Those who are the educated youths, they are not seeking the private job, but we have to encourage to explore their skill and expertise in that particular area in the self-employment and other private sector jobs also. So, say for example, we can say that a brilliant student and brilliant child from one family. The person, the parent or the other local people will say, your student is, your child is very well done in their education and performance is very, very good. So he has to select the doctor, engineer or IAS officer and other say white collar jobs. They are not thinking about the entrepreneurs. They are not thinking about entrepreneurs. The many entrepreneurs are giving and providing crores of, it may be said that it lakhs of employees they are providing. Say in India also we can say the Jio, Reliance Industry, they are providing more than 2.5 lakhs employees. So from this points of view, we have to change our mindset, and we are thinking only the job seeker. The job seeker are to be the job provider in the future. So we have to think this thing. And the government also has been supporting many youths under various schemes and frame many job opportunity and skill development program from time to time. Nowadays we have many programs. Then in next round I will say, mention if I get the time, or mentioning about the various schemes for self-employment through the government of India. They are implementing more than 20 employable schemes, self-employment scheme and any other skill development also they are providing. So that's why, our mindset and our culture and tradition should be changed. And we have to focus in other side of the screen. We have one screen in front of us because that is the government job. We are giving the priority to the government job only. So we have to think beyond this screen. So that's why we have to say open up our mind, and we have to explore our skill and beyond that skill. So for the first round, I should say. And then we conclude here for the first round.
Thank you so much for your input. That was really good. And so we'll come back to Dr. C.H. Ibohal Meitei. Doctor, it seems like, yes, we can agree that there is a lack of awareness of the jobs that the youth can take up, apart from the government jobs and the very obvious jobs that are available in the private sector. There is a lack of awareness of what they can do to employ themselves for self-employment. So, is it a fault of the education system that they are not aware of it, or is it because we live in a very closed society? What can we do to expose, give them an exposure to such jobs that are there? Because even these days, even the smallest, they can, if they're skilled, they can take that forward and make it a business. But it seems like there is a lack of awareness, and then again, people are just focused on government jobs. So, what can we do to change the mindset of the youth and make them self-employed and then employ others as well?
Yeah, Ms. Utpala, unemployment is really a great challenge in our state and India in general too.
Right.
Because day by day, unemployment issues are increasing in different parts of the country too. And in fact, lack of awareness of the various schemes, the benefits the government or any other funding agencies are providing, that could be one. And also some of the aspect, even if you aware, you may not be having that kind of a requisite skills to move ahead. That means you don't have that much of competence, caliber, or the motivations to work as a self-employed. So that is one part. And also the influence of the society. That means the value of the people is normally determined by the profession they have. If they are having a government jobs, that means this is the one, oh, he has got a job. If someone is doing very good business, even if he or she is earning more than what any other common general government employees are earning, people will say that, oh, he is unemployed, kind of a thing. That means that that's the kind of a mindset prevalent in our society. Of course, of late it has been changed, and then we need to do many things about this kind of a awareness and also the education system. So that's why I just wanted to discuss on two counts. One is, yes, everybody can dream of getting one government jobs is quite secure, and then so much of benefits may be there. That's the one part. But the question is, will all the youths, all the unemployed youths, can they get government jobs? Yes, a few can be, but the larger chunk of these educated unemployed youths, they may not be getting government jobs. That's for sure, because of the number of jobs available in the government sector. So that's why keeping the government jobs is separate. Let's not discuss much on it. Those who are interested, those who are capable, they can apply, they can get a job. I wish everybody should get it, but it's for sure everybody can't. So that's one part. Then what about the rest? Where will they go?
Right.
So that's why even if the person who are termed as educated, why he is not getting jobs? Maybe there is no any suitable jobs available in the society, or maybe even the jobs are available, he is not fit to work. So that's why we have to see from various angles. So that's why there is one status given by Mr. Korouhanba, that this Machang, about the employability. You can see to it. In India, different sectors. India produces approximately about 3.6 lakh or approximately 4 lakh engineers every year. How many of them are readily employable?
Right.
25%. Okay, it may be increasing a little by now. And then as for the general graduates, it is only 10%. So take the average, the hardly 18% is the employability. This one our youths are having once they've completed their graduation. As per the report given by the NASCO and the report given by the McKinsey's Global Institute.
Right.
So that's why they are, though they are having degrees, but not readily employable because they do lack some sort of a skill sets for employability. Maybe in terms of their soft skills, the communication skills, the interpersonal relationship, decision making, the creative thinking, and also the domain knowledge of certain areas, maybe the technical skills, the professional skills, and the human relationship or human skills.
Right.
So that's why we have to see to it the various domains of the skill sets what our youths are having. So when users compare with the developed states, developed countries like Korea, South Korea is a small state, but a small country, but their education system and the employment system, you can say to it, any employees joining for the workforce, before they join, 96% of the the workforce joining for the employment, they got skill training, 96.
Okay.
And then in UK it's 80%, Germany 75%, and then even in Mexico it is 40%, China is 54%, but whereas India stands at only 10%, out of which 4% is in the formal sector, 6% is the informal sector. That is the data given by various agencies, and that's why skill development is becoming an important component for enhancing employability of our youths. So that's why in the education sector too, we need to incorporate with the general education and skill education, the vocational or the skill education. And that's why I'm thankful to the new education policy where they are also trying to provide at least 50% of our students, all the learners from class 6 onwards, they should get exposure to the vocational trades in any one of the vocational trades by 2025. So that is the kind of a thing Government of India is trying to focus on. So that's why, as for the South Korea, as I have cited example, you see to it how many Korean companies are operating in India as on today. More than 750 Korean companies are operating in India, including the big, this one brand names like Samsung, the, this one LGs, or even Posoko, and various other, this one Korean firms, Lotte in the cosmetic segment, in the food segment, in the automobile, or in the electronics. So that means even if it's a small, they are able to export their products across the globe. So that's why skill is a one very important area of concern for providing employment. So that is one aspect we need to focus it. So that's why, coming to the Manipur's context, how about the education, as you have mentioned?
Right.
Traditionally, normally, the kind of a, this one, students, they are getting degrees in the graduate or the postgraduate or whatsoever. By and large, that's our traditional, courses, except a few. So that's why we need to relook and rethink how can we incorporate some of the skill areas in their education system, so that once they complete their respective courses, they can get a job somewhere in any of the related sectors, or otherwise they can become self-employed individuals. So that's why they definitely will be working, for the employability aspects. So that's why I just would like to cite many examples in Manipur also. I don't want to name, particularly. However, you can see to it some of the established units, the managing directors or the owners, basically some of them were working in a very good position in the government sector. But they left that job and then started their businesses of their own, and they are providing thousands of employment. So that means if they happen to be just this one government employees, of course they will be getting some benefits, etc., etc. But probably the kind of a contribution he or she may be giving over here, it's altogether different. It could not have been done. So that's why we just encourage many young entrepreneurs coming up, and then I have just seen over the last almost less than 10 years, many young new breeds of entrepreneurs are coming up, first generation entrepreneurs. Maybe their families are not in the business for the ages, but they have just come up in this business arena too. And then surprisingly, I will just share one, company. They are in the medical, this one, devices. So that's one, company is called Sandstone Medical Devices. Okay, they are just manufacturing some sort of this accessories and equipment, and they are exporting to more than 18 countries.
Okay, wow.
Okay, they are not selling anything in India, but they are manufacturing and selling in 18 countries, not a particular country. That means our young people can also manufacture some of the items which can be sold across the globe. So that is a one, very interesting and encouraging kind of a situation. That's why so many young people who are in the medical profession, who are engineers, who are in different other streams of study, joining in the business, and they are doing pretty well. And that's why they are providing good jobs. That's why we do encourage. In fact, it is right that we are having in our one universities also, we have so many departments, so many, this one streams of study, the other colleges and universities too, that we need to do good research, good teaching, good learning. But at the same time, we can also think of providing a conducive ecosystem for the enterprise creation. And in fact, Manipur University is having the Center for Entrepreneurship and Skill Development, started in 2014, and then providing skill training under the UGC's program to various courses in the tourism, hospitality, retail, and foreign trade, and the food processing. And then till now, we have just trained about 750 startup trainees under the government of Manipur. And also we have provided training to hundreds of this one potential entrepreneurs, and some of them are doing pretty well. So I really would like to encourage such kind of a system, and that way we can just cite a few people by name also, and they are contributing well as a self-employed. And even the the medical doctor like Mr. Dr. Dayanand Elias Pivaril is doing pretty good jobs in Maryland, this one ambulance plus various other related services, even the nursing care facilities and optical cares, etc., etc. Similarly, we have in the IT sector, we have in the food processing, we have the Wi-Fi, and then we have so many young, this one entrepreneurs who have been associated with us in some way or the other, including the women entrepreneurs in the state of Manipur.
Absolutely.
So that's why the changing trend as such is we should focus more on providing right kind of a motivation, right kind of a hand-holding support to these things, including some sort of a, this one, help from the financial institutions. If that is the case, probably we have lot much of potential for the state of Manipur to groom more number of self-employed youths, which can contribute in the economic growth and development of the state.
Totally, yes,
These are a few
absolutely.
things I just would like to share.
Thank you for your valuable thoughts. I'll come to Mr. Soibam now. Mr. Soibam, you said, again, I'll come back to the employability of the youth. Like most of the companies out of Manipur, the private sector, they provide on-job training for a couple of months, be it soft skills, communication, before they actually start. I'm not very aware of how it is in Manipur. So are the private sectors providing such a job? Because straight out of university or straight out of college, obviously they wouldn't have the skills or the knowledge. So obviously giving them an on-job training, say about 3 to 6 months, that would definitely improve their employability. So is it provided by the people who have companies, private companies?
See, normally when any company, any private company recruit an individual, the company has already incurred a cost.
Okay.
Because company have to pay the employee every month,
Right.
whatever salary they have to give. So now we balance that, no? We balance that. Whether we can make this person to the job. Okay, so that is our assessment.
Right.
We assess it. So once if we think, if we opt the opinion that, okay, we can groom this person, then we started training or provided the training. But if the person do not improve after third month, okay, the first 3 months, then it's very difficult, to groom that person.
Could that be because of the cultural, the background, like the way that people have a laid-back attitude? Maybe they're not very ambitious.
Yeah, the attitude is, somewhere, I would say it's lacking. Okay, it's lacking somewhere.
Right.
They don't have the right attitude to be employed. So that is the issue. Okay, that's the part of the seeking private job.
Right.
Now, I would like to come to focus to some other, self-employment of the youths. Okay, so many youths, make the first mistake when they try to be self-employed.
Okay.
The first mistake they made is they think about money first. Okay, or they correlate his venture with money. He thinks that if he has money, he can make money. Okay. To be self-employed, he thinks I need money. So that is the first mistake everybody makes.
Okay.
Okay. So that is the issue. We are not seeing much, too many self-employed persons. We see only very few. Okay. So to increase the self-employment among the youths, they have to think in the right way. Okay. The right way is, because, the first and foremost requirement for a person to become self-employed or to become an entrepreneur is he should have enough willpower.
Okay.
Okay. We have a saying in English, everyone knows, that where there is will, there's a way. So it's always true. If the person has enough willpower, he can sail through all the hardship, he can encounter all the problems, and once starting a entrepreneurship venture means it's starting to struggle. Okay. First, a person has to struggle. There is no outright success.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the struggle may extend beyond few years. Okay. So normally we say around 3 years is a good time.
Okay.
But if the struggle extends beyond 5 years, 6 years, then it's a bad thing.
Okay.
He need to review the decision again. Somewhere he's missing something. Okay, so to be an entrepreneur means he has to take so many risks, so many decisions. And as apart from that, as already Professor Ibohal have pointed out, the source of fund.
Right.
Okay. Source of fund, then government policies. So as on that, as far as I know, there's a PMEGP scheme, Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. Then we have this startup scheme by the state government. And we have then another Mudra scheme through banks.
Okay.
So now if we ask the question, why the youth are not getting assistance through these schemes? Because they lack skills. It's very clear cut.
Okay.
They lack skills. They don't know how to convince a bank. They don't know how to, set up a proper project report. Okay, then proper financial analysis. So if the youth are equipped with all these things, and Professor Ibohal has already pointed out,
Right.
the right interpersonal skill also needed. Okay, because they don't have even if he has all the skill, if he doesn't know how to approach the bank, then everything is waste.
So basically, they're lacking financial
No, they lack
literacy.
interpersonal skill also. Yeah.
The financial
They lack
literacy.
financial skill also.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So these things we need to equip them. These skills is what we are talking about.
Okay.
Okay, for a youth to become an entrepreneur, they need to have all this. They have to enrich all this.
Right. So I think this has a lot to do with the education system. If they're taught this, if they're given this financial literacy in the school days or college days, and then given hands-on training, at least if not in a very big way, in a small way, that would, and then teach them financial planning, should be a part of the curriculum.
Yeah. See, to my suggestion, I would like all the established entrepreneurs or established self-employed persons in the state of Manipur to share their thoughts, to share their experience with the youths. Okay, if there is a platform for that, it will be very helpful for the youths to become a self-employed person, to become an entrepreneur, and in the long run, once he is self-employed, he can also create employment to so many persons, so many youths again.
But how can they improve their skills? Because basically it comes down to skills.
No, that's why I was telling you, they need, there should be interaction with the already established entrepreneurs and this young person who wish to be a self-employed person.
Okay.
There should be interaction and sharing session, no?
So something like a workshop or a workshop.
Yeah, it may be in the colleges.
Okay.
Yeah, it may be in some other platform. Anywhere, wherever. For these youths, youths who wish to become an entrepreneur,
Okay.
there should be provided this, this interaction and thought sharing process with the already established entrepreneurs.
Okay.
This will be very helpful.
Absolutely. That would definitely. And probably give ideas to the younger generation to, because I think right now what we need is self-employment to improve the...
See, whoever has become a successful entrepreneur or a self-employed person has gone through a lot of hardship. Okay.
Right.
He has already, crossed those stages. So he knows so many things, so many practical aspects to make a youth or to enrich the skill to become a self-employed person.
Okay.
This will be a very effective methodology.
I believe so, yes, it will be. Thank you for your thoughts. I'll move on to Advocate Luwang. Well, you were going to tell us about the schemes that the government has, and also I wanted to ask the various schemes, of course, provided by the government. And
Yes.
okay, yes, please go ahead.
So, government of India and government of Manipur, they are doing many beautiful program. They are implementing beautiful program in our state and in our country. Main employment generation program and schemes are implemented by the government of India. It is Prime Minister Employment Generation Program.
Okay.
And under this program is implemented by the Khadi and Village Industry Commission, Government of India. And in our state, the Khadi and Village Industries Board and District Industry Center, Manipur, under the Director of Industries Employment Generation Program is financing many crores in the year. And next, self-employment program for youth, especially for the scheduled caste communities. The youths are belonging in the scheduled caste group. Their self-employment program. Under this program, 30,000 to 1 lakh subsidy shall be given to the youth.
Okay.
And then other programs, that is the startup program. In the startup program in our state, Manipur, about 33% subsidy shall be provided to the selected entrepreneurs, those who are running their own business, and bank will finance to that particular business, and against that total amount of loan sanctioned by the bank, the 33.5% shall be given to the entrepreneurs as the subsidy.
Okay.
And in this scheme, we have two programs. That is, one program is the Idea Stage program. Stage. And the next one is Revenue Stage. In the first Idea Stage, if I have I have a business idea. So if I submit the project proposal to the government of Manipur through that department, that is the planning department. Now their planning department is implementing such type of program, startup program. So they are providing revenue stage program also.
Okay.
Then the first idea stage, if we submit, if we have the idea, and then they will sanction the some small amount to groom
Okay.
and to initiate or to establish his own business enterprises. And then next, the revenue stage program. Those who are running their business successfully, and it may be started since the 3 years back
Okay.
or the 5 years back. After submission of their statements of account and other activities report and other profit and loss accounts and other employability or other profitability statements of the, and next project proposal which to be submitted by the entrepreneurs.
Okay.
In this case, they are providing the revenue stage program. Up to 1 crore also they have been sanctioned to big entrepreneurs in our statement. So we can mention Dr. W, one of the leading entrepreneurs in our state Manipur. He is establishing many good enterprises, that is the classic groups of industries.
Okay.
And then added Babina Diagnostic Center. As we know, then he was getting the subsidy from the government of Manipur under this startup program.
Okay.
And then another, we have to mention some beautiful program that is very simple and collateral-free loan program, Mudra program. In the Mudra program, Pradhan Mantri Mudra program, we have three types of program. That is a Shishu. Shishu is the initial stage.
Okay.
In the first stage of this program, Shishu up to 50,000 rupees has been sanctioned by the bank. And then if the business is started and the business is running successfully,
Okay.
after that successful period of time, the Kishore program will be sanctioned again. The Kishore program up to 5 lakhs, 50,000 to 5 lakhs. This is the very good program. And the third program is Tarun. Tarun is being sanctioned 5 to 10 lakhs. So this stage of this sanctioning program, they have been monitored and they are say examined by the bank.
Okay.
In this case, if the successful person is getting the loan with collateral free,
Okay.
in this stage, after this stage, they can grow up and they can start their big business. And as my brother Machang said, that we have lack of financial literacy. We have financial education, but we have lacking the interpersonal skill. And we are not going to the people, those who are successful persons in the self-employment areas. We have to go and interact with the persons, those who are successful persons. Say in our state, we have many successful entrepreneurs. In the poultry sector, Yumsa sequence.
Right.
Every person knows it. He is successfully doing, Mr. Homesor. Homesor is successfully running this kind of poultry business in our state. And in the medical and health sector, Mr. Palin is working very.
Right.
If we would to do the such type of business, and we have to interact with that particular person, and we have to go to him and discuss about how to start the business, and they will also guide, they will also help. Then I went to the Mr. Homesor, just like Jumsa, and with one of my younger brother, and he learned something from this Yumsa second, and I started the business, successfully running right now. So if we go to that particular successful person, and we will get our self-employment, and we will get job provider.
Okay.
Job provider persons. We have to convert the job seeker to the job providers, and some other many programs, agriculture and allied activities, and horticulture, and in the service sector and other manufacturing sector, lots of schemes are here. But we have to understand that the government implementing schemes are something lacking behind our
But is the paperworks is it very difficult, or has it been made easy so that
to reach the target population, this is difficult to reach the target population. We cannot reach out the poor people, and we could not reach out the marginalized farmers. So this is the main issue in our state and in our country. So say, for example, the 100 rupees has been sanctioned for the poor people. It will be reached out only 5% or 10%. So marginally, how can we start the program? Then say our Professor Ibohal sir said already that they have been providing many job oriented schemes through Manipur University. They have one separate center, that is the Center for Vocational Training. And they are providing many youths, many students since the last many years. But that can be employed by the private sector companies or private enterprises, as my friend Machang said already. After getting the graduation, after getting the post-graduation degree from the university, in different different stream like management, then IT, then engineering and financial sector also, they are not employable because they have to train more and more, and they have to explore their practical experience from the ongoing or running enterprises.
The existing ones.
We have to send them to the various big companies and Maruti Suzuki. If the person is getting the degree in engineering, that is the automobile engineering. So we have to send there. Say, to compare with the one the fantastic job has done by a small person, the illiterate person, but he is the mechanic of the one workshop. He said, your engineer degree holder cannot check the engines, and your engineer, that is the mechanical engineer who got the Pvt.LTD or Mt.Tech, they could not assemble such type of engines. That's it. They're cutting the job simply, but this is a reality. After getting the degree from the university or other institution, they cannot establish their own manufacturing industry. It is not for all. This is, sometimes some persons are doing such type of fantastic job, and they can establish their manufacturing unit, and they can produce many wonderful products in our country, in our society. So that's why we have to sense our mindset. Government is ready to finance those who are working very good. We have to note that the person who wants to start his own business, he will say, I don't have money. I have no money. How can I start the business? This is the wrong idea. So we can say many good big entrepreneurs in our state, Manipur also, and in the Indian context. Bandhan Bank, this is Undersecretary Bose, one of my colleague, which was studied visited in the EDI Ahmedabad. So he said, only 250,000 rupees has started his Bandhan Financial Services Private Limited. After that, now Bandhan Bank has already established and got license from the RBI, and now it's a big bank in our state, in our country. So this is not depend upon the startup capital. So we have to change our mindset. And in our Manipur, many startup company and many big companies, those who are collecting thousands of crores from the people, but they cannot survive right now. So this is the living example, which we cannot deny such type of situation happen.
So you remain consistent in whatever you do, don't give up, and then you become successful. Because I think
Yes,
people
yes.
have the tendency of giving up if they see that there's a little, the business slows down a little bit, and then people tend to think it's not as successful as they want it to be at a certain point in time. So they tend to give up. So obviously consistency is one factor which needs to be taken up into consideration by the self-employed. Okay, thank you so much for your thoughts. Now I'll just come back to Dr. C.H. Ibohal. So at the moment, self-employment in the state is the need of the hour, I would say, because there's a lot of unemployment in Manipur. So if every person has the ability to get employed, how would it change the scenario, and why are people afraid to get into self-employment? Is it because they fear failure, or is it because they have this financial lack, as I would say, because they're not aware of the schemes and lack of funds, and they think that the funds can be only obtained from relatives or from parents? So how much, what is the need of the hour at the moment for the self-employed youth?
Okay. Well, for the self-employment, we have to do many things together. In fact, one thing is you should have that kind of an entrepreneurial acumen. That means you may not be having that much of a culture to do the business, but you can learn it. So that's why university is trying to provide that kind of a support, hand-holding, etc. for the self-employment. That means there are so many schemes, as Mr. Korouhanba has explained. In addition, we can have so much of aspects, just like the CSR activities taken up by ONGC or the numerical refineries or various other private sector companies. They are also providing some funds for the startups. Even for the net fee is having Northeast Venture funds. So that's why they can also provide some sort of a this fund participation in your business in the form of a equity. So that's there are different ways of getting association with some of the agencies. That is one part we can just look into about the availability of the funds. And as for incentives, we have a special fund, a special scheme by Government of India, Northeast Industrial Investment Promotion Programs. So out of that policies, 30% of the capital subsidy can also be availed of. So for that matter, before you start the business, you have to just sit with the guidelines and then do the registration properly and then operate the business. You can enjoy the 30% of the capital expenditure you have just incurred. So besides, you can also just sit with various other schemes provided by NETFI. Again, NETFI is a developmental bank for the state of northern regions. So that's why so many schemes for the women's up to 5 lakhs or even beyond or any other, you can just just avail of it. And for that matter, Manipur University, under the banner of Center for Entrepreneurship and Skill Development, we are also just providing that kind of a consultancy, free consultancy, awareness to the youths, to the students. And in fact, we are able to produce some successful entrepreneurs as on today over the last just few years. In fact, the MIMS had started its MBA program from 1995 onwards. So we have a this one entrepreneurship development associated. However, the focus is more on this one producing able managers. But now we can also just think of producing not only the good employees of somebody, we're not a good employers too. So that's why entrepreneurship development, the skill development is another this one value addition we are just providing. So that's why we got so much of this one association with the EDI Ahmedabad and IIE Guwahati, and also we have signed so much of understanding with various other industries. And we just recently discussed with the NETFI to provide hand-holding of some of the units financed by them. That means we can provide the nitty-gritty aspects of managing the enterprise in the form of a hand-holding, in the form of an incubation, activities, and that way they can accelerate their businesses. That is one part. And we are also just having, this only the formal signing of the MOU is pending with the IIM Shillong. So hopefully by next middle of the month, we will be just expediting all these things, so that as an academician, as a learner of management, as a part of the extension activities of the university, we are also trying to provide that kind of a thing, because university is not merely a degree providing institution, but providing some sort of a skills for the good employment. And then in fact we have done it. And I'll just cite one example. Even one of our students, Mr. Razmoran Tim, is studying in Manipur University. He has this this applied for the startup revenue stays, and he has got 1 crore sanction, out of which 30%, 30 lakh is a subsidy, and 65% is a loan given by the Bank of Baroda, and only 5% is there's a margin contribution. So that's why, being a student, he applied, and then he is now making a very good earning, providing jobs to many, not only in Manipur, in outside Manipur too. So that's why we have a few successful people who can become self-employed successfully in engaging himself as on today. But I don't say that they are all successful. Success as such is a journey. Today he or she may be successful. Tomorrow I do not know how far they will be doing. But there are good number of people, they are engaging themselves gainfully as on today. Of course, there is no single best strategy which will be holding true to all time to come. But as on that, we are just needing to provide good intervention from the financial side. But the banks are also quite lenient enough today. That means if you are having a very good project, if you are having very good this one intention to do the business well, hopefully you can find good number of people to help you. But the only thing is that if you just get a loan and they're not using properly, that means you are not following the proper financial discipline while operating the business. Definitely you may not be getting good support and good loans. So that's why what we require is your intention. Are you really meant for doing any kind of a self-employment things? And if you are determined, nothing like that, you definitely will be successful. Yes, of course, your success may be delayed, but it cannot be denied, provided if you just put your efforts well, and then if you are having your own creative minds and innovative thinkings, and ultimately the success of the entrepreneurs is very much dependent on the kind of a creative and innovative mindset they are having. And I just would like to share over here in this platform, the drivers of economy in any of the regions or the state or the country is the entrepreneurs only.
Absolutely.
We need to just encourage more number of entrepreneurs to come up in every sectors, maybe the primary sector, secondary sector, and the tertiary. And then in fact, in the case of Manipur, we are not having that much of a strong footing from the secondary sector's contribution in the net state domestic product. That means about the state, this one productivity. The contribution from the secondary sector is relatively less than 10%. It's the agriculture and the services.
Right.
So that's why we need to strengthen and then proper balancing of these sectors. That's why what should be the area of business where someone can engage gainfully for the self-employment. So that is the very much need of the hour. You have to see to it. Many things are likely to be changed in the state of Manipur. Railway is going to reach Imphal in the next, this one, few years down the line, maybe a couple of years at the most. We will be just seeing train arriving in Imphal. Then the Trans-Asian Highway, Trans-Asian Railway. Then also the connectivity Imphal is going to have with the neighboring countries like Kunming, Mandalay, Bangkok, so on and so forth. And also the whole world is now opening up where our opportunities are available. And when such kind of a connectivity things have improved, then what could be the area of employment and what could be the area of opportunity our young people will be taking care of? That's why the skill development, skill set, self-employment, even in the financial sector, we can do a lot many things. But of late, we are not having that much of a palatable or the good footings in the case of Manipur as far as the private banks, RBI recognized, not recognized, so many things. I don't want to just talk on that much, but we should have a very good financial discipline. If you want to become a very good successful person in the entrepreneurship area, the first and foremost thing is you should have a very good financial discipline.
Okay.
And of course, the doors are now opened up much. Many of the foreign investors and including the angel funders are interested to have an investment. I would just love to share one more thing. Manipur University, again, under the MIMS, Manipur Institute of Management Studies, we have got, this one center of excellence had been sanctioned. Is an incubation center where entrepreneurs engaging in the AR, VR areas, this one, augmented reality and virtual reality kind of a startup ideas, it will be incubated with the SGPI. So that's why such kind of a ecosystem we are just trying to bring in the state of Manipur, because the development of self-employment in isolated cases one can do of their own and then become successful. But today, if we want to be successful, we are required to create a conducive ecosystem where many players can involve and contribute. Maybe the bankers, the society, the educational institutions, the youths, and including the already established business units. So that's why trying to just make some sort of a contribution in the minds of the young people, we are just suggesting in any of the streams of study, entrepreneurship development could be introduced as a compulsory paper, including the financial literacy. So that way, if it is so, he or she may be studying the biotechnology, he may be studying engineering, medical, pharma, or any other streams of study. If he or she is having a little bit of the entrepreneurial mindset and also the financial management, probably he or she may be able to do much better in the self-employment or in any of the management of the things.
So basically we need an open mind.
We just would like to just have such kind of a policy initiatives. So that's why we'll see to it how far it will be just coming up. But it is very encouraging. Our young people today, they have got a very good exposure because of the development in the media and then even the e-platforms whatsoever in the new technology. Many units are coming up and doing pretty well, and they are not visible much, but as I just this one keep in touch with some of the entrepreneurs is a very, very encouraging. That's why motivation and then right kind of a motivation to the young mind is very, very important. That's why if you just ignite your ideas and motivation, nothing like that, no one can stop you moving ahead. So that's why we just invited continuously for every alternate this one year or some months, meet the entrepreneurs. We just invite some of the successful entrepreneurs of the state, including outside in the campus, and then we just try to provide opportunities of interaction with our young boys and girls who are studying in the state of in Manipur University. And we also organize from time to time some sort of a entrepreneurship skill development and trying to just provide a good platform where some of the financial institutions can also come in and ideas can be shared, and that's why they can take up in the areas of this one jewelry.
That's a very good initiative. I think even schools and colleges can arrange such educational tours so that even from a very young age they can become aware of such things. So that's a very good initiative. I think that would really take forward.
Last point I just wanted to add. One more point I just want to add over here. So that's why seeing is believing.
Right.
So that's why motivations can be provided when you just saw a living, successful example. That's
Absolutely.
why we have that much of opportunity over the last many years. We keep on doing, and that's why luckily I happen to know many of the successful entrepreneurs in the state of Manipur too, through this kind of activities. And that's why while framing this curriculum, as one of you have just asked the this one, the questions about OGT, on the job training,
Yes.
and it can be a part of the internship. So many of
Absolutely,
the jobs,
yes.
it can be used as an internship program.
Internship, yeah.
Maybe for the rural development, rural livelihood, maybe about the sanitary system, maybe about the waste management, vermicompost from the waste, how you can convert it into a very, very productive items. So that's why innovative and creative talents are to be nurtured. So that's why I
Yes.
cannot just enumerate all sort of possible things. So, but the only thing is that we need to develop a conducive ecosystem. So in that ecosystem, who are the players? So every player should play a constructive role. And for that matter, maybe the government policies, the banks, the government officials, even for doing the business, we are to situate about the ease of doing business. So how fast you can just get your things expedited in terms of opening of the bank account, in terms of getting the clearance from the environment, in terms of getting your this one certifications about the trade license, about the GST or whatnot. There may be so many other things. So that's why ease of doing business is another area of concern. If it is, this to strengthen, nothing like that. I see to it, Manipur is having a very good opportunities. Our young people are having so much of talented thing, but the only bottleneck, I must say, Manipur is a very small state. That's why, as a market, it has
it's a very small
limitation.
market.
It's a small
Limited.
market. That's why when you situate about the market, market should be the whole globe is our market. So think on that line. I believe something can be changed in the next few years
In the near
down
future.
the line, provided we just develop a good ecosystem.
Thank you so much for your valuable thoughts. I'll quickly move on to Mr. Machang Soibam. We'll be talking about self-employment. So, if the number of self-employed youth increases in Manipur, how will that change the economy of Manipur?
Yeah, for example, if there are so many job providers, that means the ratio of employed youth should be increased, employed person. So that means once a person is employed, means he is earning something. So if in a family, if the number of earning members increases, that means the economy of the family improves.
Yes.
So likewise, providing employment by these private players it means it will definitely increase the overall economy of the state. It is no doubt. So I feel that every youth, those who can be an entrepreneur, I'm not saying that every youth can be an entrepreneur. Every youth can be a self-employed person. Because not everybody can become self-employed person.
Yes.
But for those who wish to be an entrepreneur, who wish to be a self-employed person, there's a big opportunity. Because the growth is unlimited. The reward is unlimited. And it's very rewarding career also in one point of view. Self-employment is a very rewarding career. And the reward is unlimited. One can go to, the unlimited, unthinkable quantum. So why our youth fail to choose this profession? Why our youth fail to see this opportunity?
Right.
So those who have the, this aptitude for entrepreneurship, they should come forward. And once he is self-employed and he is providing employment, then he is taking the responsibility of so many families. Because of him, so many families are going to leave. They're going to send their children to school. They're going to, pay their medical bills. So they're going to manage the family. So the role of a job provider is a very big one, in fact. So it's a very rewarding career also. And so through this platform, I have a special message to the youths of the state who wish to become an entrepreneur or a self-employed person. I'll be more than happy to lend a helping hand to any such individual. This will be my message to the youths.
That's
who
wonderful.
wish to be a self-employed.
I think the youth should really take advantage of this offer. Thank you so much for your valuable thoughts. I'll finish off today's open debate with Advocate Luwang. My last question to you. We have a habit of starting something which if my neighbor is successful, I'll also do it. That's the kind of attitude that people have. How do we change that, and how is it that we can make people become aware of all the numerous things that are available that they can do? How can we do that?
To Machang or to me?
Sorry? I was
to
saying...
Machang or to me? You are asking the question. For me?
Yes, the question is for you. My last question for today, tonight. I was asking you that generally...
The neighbor person is success in his particular trade, and then the person will replicate it. It will be done by that particular person, and he is successful in this particular way, and he will replicate and started a business. All the business will be fair. So such type of overlapping situation has created in our state Manipur since the last 2-3 decades. And in financial sector, mushroom growth was there, and then other, especially for financial sector, and there have been established many financial institutions without the license or any other regulatory bodies from the competent authority. So, and then on other hand, some other manufacturing company, and there is no any competitions in our state Manipur. If they have the competition, then the productivity will be increased, and the quality also will be enhanced. And then products, if the production is more, we can export the products, the finished product, and we will get many income from that particular.
So I'll just interrupt you. There's a lot of gap in the market, and people are not aware of it. For example, curds. Getting yogurt in Manipur is very difficult. I think there are only 2 or 3 companies that actually make curd in Manipur. That's a gap. Milk is a gap. We don't have dairy products available much in Manipur.
I want to mention something. We have lots of opportunity to start a business. So we say from morning to till night, we are using many products. The essential items are importing from India, Indian states, and from the neighboring countries. Then why we are not set up such type of industries in our state? So we have to think over it. No need to overlap. No need to replicate similar enterprise in our state. So we are dependent upon overseas products and outside the state. So we have many scopes, and simply we want to say that this is the virgin area in the industry.
Very true.
And now so we can start. We cannot produce the even brush, toothpaste also. And morning to what I mentioned earlier also, we don't have any products from our own soil. So we have to set up.
So there's a lot of room.
Lots of opportunities are here in Manipur. And in agro-based industries, and in service sector also, and manufacturing, and other financial sector also, we have lots of opportunities. So I last appeal to our young generation and educated youths of our state. We have to start, and we have to think innovative, and we have to create the conducive environment and which to be employable and which to be financeable by the financial institutions. So we have to inculcate such type of habits,
Right.
for saving habits and financial discipline, and other disciplines which to be essential to grow up the business. So that's why such
Very
type
true.
of essential items and essential the matters to be enhanced and to be produced by the young entrepreneurs.
Yes, there's
So,
a lot of gap and there's a lot of scope
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
We have lots of gap. So we have to do something very good things in our state Manipur. If the lastly, I would say, if the private sector or self-employment is developed in our state, our economy will be developed automatically.
Oh, absolutely right.
The Singapore, other developed countries, and they are depend upon the private sector. And without having the product, how can we save our money? And how can we earn the money? So we have to know that we must be producer only. Now we are consumer. Consumer should be converted into the producer. When that time will be grown up our state and our economy. Only this thing which I would like to convey to.
Well said, and I hope that goes
to the
into the
young
minds of the
generation of our
youth
state.
and about self-employment. So we'll come to an end. We've come to an end of our open debate for tonight. I'd like to thank our panelists, Dr. C.H. Ibohal Meitei. Thank you so much for being on the show with us tonight, and we thank you so much for your valuable inputs. Mr. Machang Soibam, thank you so much again for your valuable inputs. Thank you for being on our show. And Advocate Maisnam, Korouhanba, Luwang, thank you so much for your valuable inputs. Once again, thank you so much to all the panelists, and thank you so much for being with us, viewers. It was a wonderful discussion, and I hope this will bring out more self-employed youths in our state, which will bring a lot of changes, a lot of positive changes in Manipur, which will make us go in a very beautiful direction. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great night. Thank you.
Washing machine, fridge, smart TV, air conditioner, kitchen items amadi makal khudingmakki home appliances idamang hoina waningai leite. Kaisampat Kunchen Hazari Lekai Delega Mezo of Impalna ahongbo mamalda item khudingmakki up to 50% discount da offer pizari. Wedding set unalong matamdasu special oiba discount kayasu hamzari. Interest amat yaudena 0% EMI loan gi kudong chabasu thamjari. Kudong chabasi magan biraganu ngasi maklengsin biraku Mezo of Impal Kaisampat Kunchen Hazari Lekai.